Welcome back to the second annual Rochester Hills Public Library Author Fair in conjunction with Rochester Writers and for Rochester Writers. My name is Michael Dwyer. I'm pleased to be joined with Tiffany Zerman-Stozicki from the library. Hi, Tiffany.
Oh, hello, everyone.
And we also have Sylvia Hubbard, author for this segment. Hi, Sylvia. So good to see you.
Hi, thanks for having. Thank you.
So you were a part of last year's, and we're glad that you're back for this year. And we're going to talk about your book as I look at the name Black's Innocent. It's hard to keep up with your novel writing. How many are we up to?
We are at 52 stories now, 52 published stories.
And are they all around the same genre?
Yeah, basically romance, suspense. I have always enjoyed that. I love to kill people and I love people to fall in love. So I figured, I can put the two together and work it out.
And are they ever the same person falling in love? And
no, they're all different people, although in why I call it the literary world of Sylvia is because some of them are sub characters in other books. So you'll read one book and then, it may be a best friend or a cousin who has their own book. So yeah, they kind of work out like that, but usually the main protagonists are different.
Well, tell us about this most recent book. What are readers going to find in this?
So in Black's Innocence, this is the 5th book in the Black family series. And it's basically about Lauren, who decides, she just decided on an early age she was going to have the perfect life, get the perfect career, find the perfect husband. And she was going to just, have, the 2-car garage, the big mansion, just the all out, I'm going to have everything and plan everything perfectly. And she just learns when you make plans, God laughs. And she happens to get in the way of Tyler Black, who is bent on revenge against her new husband. So her soon-to-be husband. So yeah, she kind of doesn't get what she wants. And this is her journey of just finding the life that she is meant to have and not what she planned to have.
And that is how life goes, isn't it?
Pretty much. This was kind of a journey, a personal journey of my own, because like I started thinking, well, I got a lot of stuff from the past. Someone had given me a box of something, and it's funny how you read your journals and you're like, oh my God, that's what I wanted, and this is what I dreamed of. And then when you look at your life and you're like, nope, that's not what happened. And it's not what it's like. I went right, my life went left, and but then we have to kind of ease back and accept, what our reality is. And until that time, that's only when we can find happiness. So it was fun writing this and realizing a lot of it is true and based on reality. So
well, and Sylvia, a lot of people might not know your story like I know your personal story, and it's been such a roller coaster life for you, and you maintain that big smile and such a positive outlook all the time. It's amazing. And does that shine through in your novels? Is there always a positive weave?
Yeah. Of course. And that's why I do base a lot of things when you write the word romance, that you are writing a happily ever after or a happily ever for now. You just got to take, life as it is, and just the only thing you really got when you're born is your smile. So you might as well keep it and not give it to others. So I just kind of, yeah, I do. Where it comes through in my writing is that yeah, it's gonna come out happily ever after or happily for now, and then we're gonna keep going. So yeah.
And this is a new book in a series. Does that mean that it answers some questions for readers, fans of this series?
Does it answer questions? No, it doesn't. It kind of puts an end to this series. It was all about the Black brothers are kind of bent on revenge. And this was the last Black who, they have this revenge streak. When you wrong them, they got to come back and tear you apart. So it was kind of like it was coming to an end. So I think my readers will enjoy it. You don't have to read all of the books, but you can read one of them, and then you're gonna want to pick up the other ones because you're gonna want to know what happens with the Black. So
So
that's why.
any of these novels are standalone, but people that are fans of the series will find a continued enjoyment with this latest book.
Right. So you would say this is like a companionship novel. So it's just other companionship, like all the other cousins and brothers. You just want to know them. So, but yes, this is a standalone. They are all basically all standalone. I think I have one series, but all of them are really pretty much standalone. You can start wherever you are and continue from there. And then you have
Tiffany,
50, and then you
it
have
looks
50
like,
to read, so you can keep going.
oh, absolutely. And I think Tiffany has a question. She's got that look on her face.
Okay. Yes.
What brought you to the romance mystery genre? Like what made you want to write in that field?
Um, well, I know initially I wanted to write romance because and Tiffany's probably gonna be mad at me when I tell you this, but I was at the library and I was 12 years old and I walked by one of those Fabio covers and I was like, I want to read whatever is in this book. I don't care what's in it, but I have to have it. But our librarian was a good librarian. And when I brought the book up to the counter, she said no, because I was 12 years old. So I did what any Detroiter would do and I stole it. And I stole it. And it was like a Thursday. And I remember I stole it and I put it in my bag. And I was like, oh, I'm going to hell. And then I was in church. I had forgot the book was in my bag. So I opened up my bag to get my Bible out in church. And I saw the book. So I put the book inside the Bible and began to read it. And in the whole time I was at church, I read that entire book. It was horrible, but it was so good. The power of just the happily ever after and just knowing that the journey is so much better than just getting to the end. I was like, I gotta make people feel like that. And then I know when I was about 16 or 17, my dad went on this spree on PBS and just started watching serial killers all the time. So he would send us to bed and then settle down and PBS had this huge serial killer and we would sneak back down and listen to it. And I was just so fascinated by that. Like, okay, what is this about? How can I find out more? And then I started wondering, well, what happens to like the sons and daughters of serial killers and what happens to them? So I kind of like started mixing that suspense element to it. And the first book I actually wrote, which was my second book published, was Stone's Revenge. And it was actually about the son of a serial killer who decides to get revenge against the prosecuting attorney that convicted his father. So it just turned into this huge book that it was just so much fun to write. And that's how I knew I wanted to be a suspense romance kind of person because I love romance, but just the idea of just keeping people on their seats to find out, oh my gosh, is this person gonna die? Is this person gonna live? How many people I get to kill? I can study poison and nobody comes and knocks on my door. You can go to conferences about killing and people are okay with this. So I was like, this is kind of cool. This is really fun. So yeah, I just kind of do that. Take drama, deliciousness, Detroit, and mix it all together.
That's great. That sounds great. That's a good story.
I have to ask, Sylvia, have you ever returned the book?
I actually did when I moved back to Detroit, and I had been collecting that author. I had went on a spree of collecting that author's entire book, and it was a Johanna Lindsay. So Tiffany understands. Like, you have to take a Johanna when you see it. So, but I was like, I was collecting all of her books, and then I remembered that I had stolen that book, so I ordered 2 of those books. And I just walked in the library, put it on the counter, and walked out. I was like, well, you know what? Better late than never. And then I was always scared after I read that Stephen King story about the library cop. And I just I got paranoid just a little bit, like someone was eventually going to come knocking on my door and take me out for a book. So, I did. So yes, I did return that book.
Well, that's good news. And I think that what you've given the literary world far outweighs borrowing a book for a few years from the library.
A decade.
Okay.
A decade. And then after that, you know what, even after, I've always donated my books to the libraries. Whenever I've gone to speak, I donate. We try to donate to the little libraries, especially around Detroit. With my organization, Motown Writers, we try to donate to the little libraries all around Detroit, because I do love, I love reading and I love writing, and I want to share that. And then as a single mom, I don't want any mother to ever have to choose between, a bag of rice or $1 for a book. And I don't think that's any decision any parent should ever have to make. So, making donations to libraries and to little libraries are just key, in my opinion. Like, everyone should do it. You should never be throwing out a gently used book. You should be giving it back to someone who wants to read it. So
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
Sylvia, you brought up the fact that you work with the Motown Writers Network. Well, actually, you founded the Motown Writers Network. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what you're doing these days with the organization?
So we started in 2000, and my goal was basically to help writers get to their literary goals and connect readers to Michigan authors. And I used to, we used to send out this spiel, especially when Michigan was going through its own difficult financial times. If you want to support Michigan economy and you can't buy a car, you can buy a book, buy an author. And it was a great spiel because we sent a lot of people towards, buying books from Michigan authors. And that's always been our goal, is to push towards that. But education towards writing, publishing, and marketing has been key in my life. And it's just kind of been a work of love of building this organization so people can know about it, readers and writers. Because I feel if you want to wake up in Michigan and you want to write a book, then I want to be there to help you get to that point. So we've been going on, we're 20 years now. Yeah. Oh my God. We're 20 years old. And right now we are, since we're COVID, and we can't gather around because we meet every second Saturday, and it was at the Detroit Public Library main branch. But now we are online in our Facebook group every second Saturday, and we bring experts in. We bring social media people, marketing people, publicists, publishers, writers, and authors to come and talk and teach about their journey. So people still attend, and it's really great, and they still ask questions, a lot of questions. And they still learn and appreciate, that we're still going. So yeah, COVID didn't stop us. We're still going. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Well, and Sylvia, I've been down to your writers group a few times, and what a marvelous core group of writers and authors that you have, and very passionate people. And, you know, at Rochester Writers, we do a lot of the same things, but you've been doing it longer, and I give you so much credit. You're a name throughout all of Michigan, and certainly through the Motown connection. So thank you for all that you do for readers and writers alike. And you mentioned getting lots of questions. I bet you can tell us one that you get all the time, and what's your answer?
Do I sleep? Do I sleep? I get that personally, but a lot of writers just want to know, how do you finish a book? That's always been for writers. For authors, I always get, how do you stay consistent, or how do you market more? And for those three questions, I do sleep. It's just not on a regular schedule. For the writer question, how do you finish a novel? You just gotta kind of push through those tough times, those droopy middles, and those, you know, those really hard personal times that try to come in between your writing time, and get it done. You just gotta sit your butt in a chair and do it, kind of spiel. That's pretty much really the best advice. Just finish it. And then for the authors and the authors that always ask me those questions about marketing, staying consistent, I would say get a planner, get an offline book, a planner, a notebook, a journal, and just start writing down what you want to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then start to do it. You know, or sit for 20 minutes on a Sunday and say what you're going to do for the rest of the week, and then plan it out. Get a free social media manager and just put it out there, because no one's going to talk about your book. No one's going to talk more about your book except you. And you have to really talk about it. I see authors, they'll come out with a book and say, oh, my book is published on a Tuesday, and you never hear about it until the next month. Oh, I do have a book. And then 2 months later, I still got a book. But you got to remember, how many times do you see a McDonald's commercial? McDonald's advertises daily, twice, 10 times a day. And you know, your great grandchildren are gonna want McDonald's, and they really don't ever have to market if they don't want to, but they still do. So if McDonald's is still marketing every day, why aren't you? So you have to think about that. So that's pretty much what I tell authors. You have to do it, and you have to do it consistently, whether you like it or not. Once you took that step into business, you gotta keep working the system. So that's my spiel.
Well, thank you so much, Sylvia Hubbard. Her latest book is Black's Innocent. It's 52 books. You've got one book a week with Sylvia Hubbard. You can spend a whole year if you can read a book in a week.
2021.
There you go. Plan all your reading with Sylvia Hubbard. Is there one place that you want to send people that they can find out about your books and about Motown writers, and maybe where to buy them?
So you can find out more about me on my website at sylviahubbard.com, and you can go straight to the books at sylviahubbard.com/books, and then you can find out more about Motown writers at motownwriters.com. And of course, I'm always over social media everywhere, and you can just Google my name, Sylvia Hubbard, in any search engine, and I'll pop up.
Any parting thoughts, Tiffany, for Sylvia?
No, just thank you for joining us. It was a real treat to talk with you. It was really great.
You guys have a great day, and happy holiday.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia Hubbard, sylviahubbard.com, and we'll be back in a moment with another author.